Equalization. When do you need it? Here we will look at the various scenarios where the transmitter equalization or the transmitter pre-equalization, CTLE, DFE, in what combination they need to be used and under what conditions. Equalization. What is equalization? Method to compensate what is the loss due to the channel due to the frequency components of the capacitors and inductor action or the transmission line activity inside the channel. What gain is lost? How do you recover that gain such that you have a clean signal? That is called equalization in simple terms. When do we need equalization? This is a very important question and a very nice question that we can answer. So the way we go about is, till what range can your signal loss due to the channel be recovered by the RX first stage, either with an amplifier or without an amplifier, is your first level. So for example, if you can take that, see, this is in this graph, here is minus 10 dB, this is 0 dB, right? Here is minus 20, here is minus 30. So the way you will use is, say up to minus 10 dB, you could get a good action. So if you typically draw a line here and say this is your 1 megahertz or 1 gigahertz. So this is your 1 gigahertz band, and in a log graph this would be 10 gigahertz. This is 2 and this is 3. So around 3 gigahertz, if you are getting a 10 dB loss up to 10 dB minus 10 dB, that is this box, you will not need no equalization needed. So this would be your first level. Up to 10 gigahertz, 3 gigahertz, no equalization is needed. Now what this does is, it gives you enough simplicity in the signal to just use with an amplifier. You can just add an amplifier which is called a VGA or variable gain amplifier, so that the variable gain amplifier is, and this gain is frequency dependent. So with frequency your gain will also increase. So as you increase the frequency you get more gain, and this level up to this level is compensated. So up to 3 gigahertz you can use a VGA. Now when you go from 3 to, say in this figure there is up to 4, you will see that they are very close to 20 dB. So in this case, this box in red is your 20 dB attenuation, and this 20 dB you are seeing up to 5 gigahertz. In this 5 gigahertz, you would probably need some equalization happening in the TX, such that change the TX can be done, and that when it passes through the channel will be coming back. So this is called pre-equalization. So from 3 gig to 4 gigahertz, you can say 3 gig to 5 gigahertz, you can only do with TX equalization. Means you do equalization here, okay, or it is called pre-distortion or high frequency boosting or low frequency attenuation. You will do either one of these things, and that what happens in the transmitter passes through the channel, and this gets recovered and you take it back in the RX. So this is the TX equalization. Now beyond 5 gigahertz, if you observe, from 5 to almost say 8 gigahertz, you are in the 30 dB loss. So in this particular case, you will need a transmitter, you will need a pre-equalization. In the receiver, you will need CTLE, which is your gain stage. Along with CTLE, you will need a DFE, decision feedback equalizer, and both these in combination will help you recover up to 30 dB gain or 30 dB loss. So to recover the 30 dB loss, they have to give a 30 dB gain. The frequency response of the channels are shown here. Now, as we have discussed, 3 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz and 8 gigahertz limits. But in many cases, due to the performance, you would find that these limits are not hard stones. 3, 5 and 8. So these are not hard limits, and these are directly compared to what is the performance that you would need in your system. So in many cases, there are options that can be used to use. So up to 3 gigahertz, you can simply say have a no TX equalization and keep only a CTLE. This makes very simple sense. But in this range where you have from the 3 gigahertz to 5 gigahertz band, you see the gain going from -5 all the way to -20. Right? The gain is going from -5 to -20, and this is a 15 dB gap. Now, what do you do with this 15 dB gap? How can you ensure that the entire circuit across all your PVT process voltage and temperature variations and all your corners of simulation, which typically will be your min, typical and max performance corners, have to ensure that this is available. Now, how do you ensure that your circuit is performing for all these frequencies? So the easier method to do is to use a combination. What is that combination? In this case, you could use a TX feed forward equalization or your pre-equalization. That means you would do something to the signal here. So what is that something or pre-equalization? We know that the low frequency signal will have a lesser attenuation than the high frequency signal in the channel. In this case, what will happen is, to ensure that you have a smooth transition, we do a pre-equalization wherein the low frequency signal is attenuated to send with the same height as the high frequency signal. Right? Now what is happening is, all your low frequency signal will be within this blue two lines, which is similar to what is there in the high frequency lines. Now this is when you come at the output of the channel. So when at the receiver side, you will receive all of them to be of the same height. So this is on the RX side. So when you receive it on the RX side, all are of the same amplitude, so you can apply the CTLE. And what is the CTLE? CTLE has this characteristic wherein you will add less amount of gain, say 2 dB for the lower frequencies, and you will add a higher amount of gain for the higher frequencies, say 6 dB. So what happens is, the low frequency signal gets attenuated or gets amplified a little, whereas the high frequency gets amplitude much larger, and this helps in recovering the signal. Right, so we can use this combination of FFE pre-equalization plus CTLE in this range, and this is directly dependent on two factors. What are those? The first factor is what is the inter-symbol interference, ISI, meaning how much of the previous symbol or the current symbol impacting the next symbol, and how much of the previous symbol is impacting the current symbol. So this is called energy spread into neighbor. So whatever is the current energy that you need to have, that is getting spread into the neighbor. So this energy you need to converge back. So for that, the solution that typically the design community uses is called a decision feedback equalizer. So depending upon what is the decision of the previous step, you take a decision and add or subtract elements in the next step or next time unit. So this is one of the factor. Second factor is also a derivative of the same, which is called pulse spreading. This is also called pulse spreading. Right, and the second factor is gain loss, or which is called attenuation. So depending on these two factors, you would take the decision. So now that you have understood, we could use this is in the Rx side, this is on the Tx side. So we will have a two combination. Next, in the higher order frequencies where it is much larger, you will use a bigger combination, saying I will have Tx FFE with more than one tap. Then in the Rx side, you will have CTLE plus DFE. Now the number of taps that you want to choose to do the DFE taps could be 2 to 15 in many cases. The reason is the amount of spreading that you could see in the higher frequency signals or higher data rates could ensure that you are there in 15, energy is spread in 15 neighboring time channels. So you would try to compress all that 15 into one. So between 2 taps to 15 taps can be done. So if you are doing an analog implementation of a DFE, you would use 2 to 3 taps, 2 or 3 taps. And if you are using a digital filter, which will enable you to go up to 15 to 20 taps also, to as close and performance based. So now you understood that when and how you can use what kind of a combination and what kind of a performance, and everything is performance dependent.